to another episode of the Talk That Talk Show with me, Barry Holmes. Got a big shout out here to my boy Eric Turner, my boy Eric Rivera, Hawks on our Instagram live stream. Then also everybody that's tuned in as well on our Facebook live stream as well too. But here we are to deliver yet again another episode here at the Talk That Talk Show. And last episode was, pretty much me talking about everything leading up to, my birthday celebration. Once again, everybody that came out, it was funny. I was talking to my one boy and he asked, how my party was. And I was like, yeah, the one on Saturday was dope. And, we had another one on Sunday. He's like, damn, man, you had a 2-day birthday party. And like, I did it. It was just dope. Like I said, Kevin Schaefer, coming out. We saw some Frank Lanza sightings. A lot of the homies that, really, I really love and care about, they came in and showed out. And, it was just very humbling again to, it's something when I come here on this podcast and, deliver the show to you guys each and every week. I'm very humbled by each and every one of you guys that continue to come on. And then also the new viewers and subscribers as well too. But, it's something when you have people in person, showing you that gratitude and that appreciation for the things that you do on an everyday basis. And, that's how I felt. I felt like the most special person, man, to, from going golfing that Thursday, like I said before, to Friday night going out, Saturday and Sunday having a nice party at the crib, my mom cooking food, my sister coming from Baltimore. So, all the things just seemed to align together to have everybody that cared and that wanted to be there. And, I think that, especially when you're talking about, birthdays and, how can I say, celebrating or highlighting, yourself, it's one of those things that, it becomes maybe just as special when you have people around you to share that with you. And like I said, I felt like so full. My heart felt so full. And, I felt great to be able to just, share the good times with my friends and family. And it just has me energized and ready to go. I talked before about, what are some of the things that I really wanted to do moving forward into this next year. And, I definitely said that the Cat Master B thing that I've been going on is definitely going to be something that I'm going to be pushing forward heavy. So once again, we went out to ECapCity today. Big shout out to my boy Koo Pack. He was talking about just how difficult it's been for them, being that they're one of the few Jersey hat places that are putting out heat. And the last 4 weeks, even me and Say, we were trying to go there, the last couple weeks. And, Koo was telling us that, a shipment had been slowed down and they hadn't been able to get these hats. And, it sucks because, ECapCity is one of those places in New Jersey that we like to rep heavy because we're all about repping, the home state. And, just to be able to come to the drop this week after, 4 weeks off, just felt good, so good to see, like, your normal crew or the normal people that you see at these drops. And then also to cop some really dope stuff. Once again, had a huge day today on the pre-orders. If you were one of the people that pre-ordered with me on that ECapCity drop, thank you so much. And I was so happy to ship your hat out today, man. It was awesome. And, for the people out there tuned into the show that have joined in, loving the hats as well, too, I'm going to show you one of the sneak peeks of one of the hats that I did cop for somebody. Shout out to my boy Q up there in Chicago. But, he was one of the first people that hopped on board the train early for the pre-orders. So, this one right here I'm going to show you is one that, came out from ECapCity today. This one is the Atlanta Braves, really underrated patch here. We have the Turner Field final season patch on the side, which is absolutely fire from ECapCity. And one of the things that Savion has always been on them as far as, what's up with the Battermans? We want these stitched in Battermans. They came through with the stitched in Batterman on the back. And, especially to accent that with the cool gray on the bottom. ECapCity really did their thing here with this peach hat. And, I'm so happy to be able to, hook somebody up with that because at the end of the day, I love hooking people up with hats. And then, I want to talk about this a little bit more after I get into this next reveal. But, another one that I'm huge on, and, again, I'm talking about, big time business, and I love people that, know how to conduct business the right way. And that place is definitely MyFitteds, man. MyFitteds is somebody that is on the up and coming. I'm telling you, they be putting out some really, really dope fitteds. And one of the things that we always say that we like about MyFitteds compared to these other places, they're willing to do some things that not a lot of people other will do. You know what I'm saying? I've seen them put out some really dope logos and different patches that we haven't seen before. But this one right here, this one's going to be coming out, I think, within the next couple weeks. I promised I wouldn't be sneak peeking this way too much, so I'm only going to, just for you guys, I'm going to show off one hat from this WrestleMania pack. And again, we're talking about how, dope they are as far as putting out shit that we haven't seen before. And you haven't really seen a WrestleMania pack or a wrestling fitted pack. I think a Hat Club maybe did it once or twice. I think I had a Bret the Hitman Hart one, but it wasn't as intricate, I feel like, as this one. So this one right here, they sneak peeked this. I'm going to tell you guys, shh, don't tell anybody. But here we go. We got the WrestleMania Ultimate Warrior hat with the side patch from WrestleMania 7. Yo, this is absolutely fire, guys. And when this drops, I'm telling you, look at the back as well, too. You got the Ultimate Warrior mask in the back with the green under visor. You know how we are about getting those good greens in, man. So, yo, this one is definitely one you're going to want to check out when MyFitteds drops it. This one's called the Ultimate Warrior from the WrestleMania pack. Yo, absolute flames, guys. But again, I told you the reason why I like MyFitteds a lot more so than a lot of these other places is just based off of the fact of how, they conduct their business. And, one of the things that I've prided myself on with this podcast and with Catmaster B or any one of my endeavors is, I put, customer service at the highest priority for myself. So, you have people like Eric Rivera who continue to, go out there and support and get hats from me. And then also, on the opposite end too, when you, and this is something, like I said, that I really pride myself on as far as being someone in the game and having access that, some other people don't have. But a lot of people take advantage of that access and try and crack people. Guys, you'd be surprised just how much people are trying to crack in the game for these hats. I mean, you got people posting $200, $250 on these Grail and eBay accounts. It's like, bro, who the fuck is going to pay that much money for a hat, right? But then you have people like me who continue to try and put out, hats for people and give them the access that the bots are taking away and just their mere proximity are taking away. And, you can ask anybody that's in the game and anybody that's gotten a hat from me. I continue to, put pins in there. I'm trying to get as many hats as I can for you guys. Going on the lines, doing the best that I can to try and, drop official shit for you guys. And, the people that have supported and that have, come payment ready, it's been amazing, bro. And, just the amount of relationships that I've built. I mean, like I said, this guy, Eric, coming from a spot where, I was selling him hats to a point where, he saw one of his connections that had a hat that I didn't have in my collection. And he went out of his way to get that for me. And then somebody on a hat drop where I gave them a pin, they wound up getting me a hat at a stadium exclusive from Citi Field. So it's like, when you go out, trying to help people, not really asking for things in return, it's really humbling to see what you can get back in return. And like I said, just helping people out and being able to, get these hats and build the clientele of people that I've had, it's really equated to very good business. And on top of that, people continuously hit me up or in the DMs or are posting stuff. Shout out to Groovy Brims. He had a great post today, posting the jersey pin with his hat. But, when you do things the right way, you don't have to ask people to, make a post like that. When you do things the right way, you don't have to bang down people's door to sell your product. Peter said, best, a great product sells itself. And when it comes down to this Catmaster B shit, or even with this Talk That Talk show, I continue to try and put out the best, highest quality product that I can, whether it's this episode and whether it, be the merchandise. I've come a long way from the OG ones to now where we're, talking about different articles of clothing that we're going to produce, right? So, again, all of this stuff I go to say in that, everything takes effort, but it also takes a lot of thoughtfulness and a care that it takes to create that product and create that high quality product. So for everyone that has supported me again on this Cat Master B, and even if you've gotten a shirt from me in the Talk That Talk show, just know that I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this. I put the time in to go get the hats. I put the time in to talk with my, person, Tim, and try and create hot stuff. I put the time in to try and create an itinerary for a show that you guys won't be bored with and that you want to share and you want to have and tell your friends about. Everything is intentional here, and everything, requires the energy, and not just energy, but the positive energy to continue to push forward. That's what is able to have me continue to make good business. Just like my boy Noto Dev here. I mean, he has Tirador, which is an absolute killer brand, and I've just seen just the amount of the care and the thoughtfulness and the attention to detail that he's put just to even put in great socks. I mean, anything that you want in life, whether it's, a business, whether it's a job that you're seeking, you got to put in the effort to get where you want to go. And that effort, is not something that you can fake. And people, out there, if they're on the other end of the spectrum, whether they're receiving a service from you or whether they're receiving a product from you, they talk. And when you put out something shitty or you put up your shitty work, then people are going to talk about how shitty it was. They're going to make fun of it. And I think that, when you come through with your chest out proud and your head held high because you can sleep at night saying that you put out your best effort, that's what is able to get people to continuously come back. And that's what I think that I've prided myself on with this Talk That Talk show, with Cat Master B, with anything that I put my mind to. You're going to get 110% out of me. So, guys, good business always comes from good ethics, and then also the amount of energy and effort that you put in to make that business good, right? But one of the things that we've seen who put in a lot of energy and effort was this boy Giannis Antetokounmpo. As much as I don't want to admit it, the man is an NBA champion, and Chris Paul has had another NBA championship slip right through his hands. I mean, Chris Paul has had a lot of opportunities, and as he gets older and older, you're going to start to see that those chances in the finals might start to dwindle. And we've seen how long it took him to get to that point, and we've seen Magic Johnson, who's even gone out to say, well, he can opt out of that contract and he should go talk to LeBron James and the Lakers. The options are open for Chris Paul, but I think that, we can't take the light away from Giannis Antetokounmpo and what exactly that he's done. And what he's done is, he's shown that he's brought the bully ball back, like Shaq says. And, to put in 50 points in a closeout game is very, very impressive, man. And the crazy thing is, like my boy Noto Dev says, first thing he says, you can't half step in life because you'll end up getting hurt. That's a fact, man. And one of the things that they always say, too, is like, you can't play boxing or, you can't go out there timid playing football because when you go out trying not to get hurt, you will get hurt. And in that same sense of, half-stepping, you got to put your best foot forward at 110%. And what we saw is even down 0-2, Giannis still had the integrity. He still had the go-get-itness, to not give up, to go out there and win a game in Phoenix. When I said that, I didn't think that was going to happen. You got to give credit. But we don't see too much more credit that needs to be given than to also Chris Middleton. There's plenty of times in that series where when they needed a key bucket, it seemed like Chris Middleton was always the one that they wanted to have the ball in their hands. So, we've seen just how much, effort and time in the gym can get you, because here Chris Middleton was pretty much trying to play for a spot in a D-League team. He gets brought up, and now look at him, man. He's an NBA champion. Hawks says, I think the fact he didn't tear his entire knee up on that play against the Hawks is the most impressive thing from him. No way I thought he was going to come back. That's a fact. I mean, when we saw he hyperextended that knee, I think we all thought that the Bucks were done, because there's no way that the Bucks can win without Giannis. I mean, the guy put up 50 fucking points, right, in a closeout game. So it's very important that he did get through that injury, and I'm happy to see that, because I think a lot of times what we're going to see also now, what some of the memes that I have seen, is that people are putting almost like an asterisk on that because of, how Kyrie and James Harden was hurt for the Brooklyn Nets, and now people were saying like, oh well, if the Nets were in it, we could be talking about different finals, and that could very well may be the case. But the fact of the matter is that Giannis and the Bucks, they came out NBA champions, and now we're into the next year, and it's going to be very interesting to see just how much, or just how the landscape of the NBA is going to try and go to emulate the Bucks and to emulate what they can do. And it's very hard to emulate having a 6'11", 6'12" guy who can do what Giannis can do. And besides just going to the basket 100 miles per hour, it's not much. But he proved that without, a very offensive bag, it proved that just energy and effort can really go out there and win some games, man. You got, like I said, Chris Paul, who was coming off the pick and roll like nobody's business. But then when it came time to do it, he struggled a little bit in those last critical games in the finals. So, big ups to them. I'm happy for the Bucks, even though I'm not really happy for them. But, it's good to see a new team in there after we were used to the Warriors and the Cavs and, the Heat for so long, right? But another thing that we saw that made a lot of news was that, the Cleveland Indians changed their name, right? And I don't know if you guys know, but, the Wahoo, especially in the hat community, has been something that's been very sought after, and that's the red Indian head that they took away, I believe, was like maybe a couple of years ago. But, not having Chief Wahoo was the first step, and now we saw that Cleveland took the next step towards, rebranding themselves. And I think it was a great decision, don't get me wrong. I just think that they had the wrong name change, right? We saw that they changed their name to the Cleveland Guardians, and, a lot of times, I feel like teams make these decisions hastily without thoroughly thinking them out. And I think that's what happened here. I think when you have, teams that either follow alliteration like the Chicago Cubs or the Boston Bruins, those types of teams, they tend to market well or market better with that alliteration, right? Or you can go with the local route, right? We've seen that Vegas, when they had their new team, it was the Vegas Golden Knights, right? Trying to play on a little bit of that casino night shit or whatever. Then you had also Seattle, who tends to have, that high seas or that, a lot of that offshore stuff, or a lot of dock working. So they made the Seattle Kraken. Just little things like that to try, bring the fans in or have them feel a part of it, or get a connection with it. How can anybody in the city of Cleveland really connect with the Guardians, right? Eric even says, I don't know about the logo either. You can bet your bottom dollar I'm not putting on a hat that has like the Guardians with like the two wings and the baseball. Guys, it doesn't look good at all. My boy Jeff said the Seattle Kraken hats will be tough. Yes. I just wish that the NHL would go back to being licensed by New Era, because those Fanatic hats sometimes they aren't it, man. But getting back to the Cleveland used to be Indians, but now the Cleveland Guardians, I think that again, at least they did a little bit more than the Washington football team, because the Washington football team didn't even have the balls to just put a name on it. They're still identifying as the Washington football team for another season. And one of the things we don't like is indecisive franchises. So even though we may not agree with the choice of the Cleveland Guardians, it's good that they made a decision to not just change their name, but just change something that's completely different to eradicate that whole feeling of, cheating the Native Americans out of themselves, or making a mockery out of them with that red logo. Because, at the end of the day, was it, and I've had this conversation with people before, and specifically old school Redskins fans, where they're saying, we've been calling them this for so long, what's the big deal? That's the biggest thing that you'll hear all the time. But it's like, what if we said that with slavery, right? What if we were like, slavery's been happening for so long, just keep it, man. Like, what's the big deal? When you have things that aren't right, you have to make the changes necessary to make sure that you can make things right. And, even though we won't agree with the name change here, Cleveland, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. But one thing that we did see in change, and a team that did make some changes, we saw that the New York Mets added Rich Hill to their pitching rotation, especially with a team which we talk about with injuries, who's been decimated with injuries. It's been tough to watch the Mets play, in late inning games. They're the most exciting team to watch from, inning 1 to 7. But when it gets down to the 8th and 9th inning, you're like, oh, fuck, who are they going to put in, man? And one of the things that we've seen is Edwin Diaz, who hasn't done too well. He's blown like so many saves. And then even Seth Lugo, who did so well last year, I saw, has had some struggles as well. And pitching is something that's very confident-based. And I just see Edwin Diaz out there, just someone that's just looking to stand on his sea legs, man. I don't see someone who's out there dominating, like looking like he wants to be out there. When you saw Pete Alonso in the home run derby, and he was bobbing his head, man. He was like, man, I'm going to hit the shit out of the ball. And I knew he was going to hit it. When you go up there and you see Edwin Diaz up there, you're like, oh, man, I know he's going to blow this game. Because he just doesn't have that confidence. He doesn't look confident. He's throwing meatballs down the plate, and it's like when you don't have the same velocity that you might not have, you got to look at and try and look at the location of the pitches and try and get some people out on painting those corners. And I've seen too many meatballs from him, man. I know that's aside from the point. I originally wanted to talk about Rich Hill coming to this team, and it's going to help out the starting pitching. Don't get me wrong. He, at 42, we might not see him on a team next year or in the next couple of years, but he's going to be somebody that can give us a couple starts and help, to get this Mets team some wins, because the gap is closing here in this NL East, and, I would hate to see the Mets miss out on a potential pennant, because of this pitching. And I know that, the deadline has come, and their priority was trying to get some starting pitching. But, if we couldn't have beefed up that bullpen, I think, in the future, moving after this year, you got to get rid of Edwin Diaz. The guy, he's awful. He's not worth $7-8 million, whatever.
Go back to the American League.
Yeah, he's not it right now. You're not that guy, pal. And I think that, the Mets should, in this offseason, please prioritize beefing up that bullpen, because Jairus Familia ain't going to cut it. Seth Lugo ain't going to cut it right now. Loop ain't gonna cut it right now. Trevor May ain't gonna cut it. We need somebody, guys. We need somebody. And, finally, moving on past that, one of the funnier stories that I wanted to talk to you guys about before I get off here. And you know how everything is very COVID savvy, and, people are trying to go through a lot of preventative measures to try and make sure that we're doing the right things with social distancing. And one of the things that we have seen is that the Olympics have taken a little bit of a different route as far as preventing, or as far as, enforcing, social distancing. And one of the things that people don't know is that, when you're in the Olympics, I mean, I'm not in the Olympics, but this is just from, what we've seen. But in the Olympics, everyone is pretty much housed together in these different pods. It's almost like a big Olympic village where everybody's staying together. So when you have all these different people that are in the top physical shape of their life trying to get it in and trying to win something for their country, it can be a little stressful and to let off a little steam. You know what human beings do to let off a little bit of steam, And if you don't know, if you went to sex education in high school, I'm sure you can figure out what happens when, you want to let off a little bit of steam and you got a lot of good-looking people around you. So one of the things that the Olympics have tried to do is they've set up cardboard box beds for the Olympians so that they won't have sex with other Olympians. How crazy is that? Can you imagine if you put in like the most craziest 400-meter fucking dash that you've ever had in your life? You just broke an Olympic record, then you gotta go sleep on a cardboard bed? That's crazy, But these are the type of measures that have been put in place so that these Olympians can try and have a little social distancing. And I have to admit, it's a little bit creative as far as what they've done to prevent this, but, the fact of the matter is that a lot of people, are going to be doing certain things and they're not going to follow protocols. But at least the Olympics are trying to do something a little bit creative to stop people from, or at least to enforce a little bit of social distancing. My boy Z said that's why they got the low birth rate. Yeah, exactly, man. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this Talk That Talk show today.
Talk that talk.
We got another episode wrapped up in the books. It's been a great night. Guys, it wouldn't be the Talk That Talk show without one last thing, right? And I'm going to give you guys the review, right? So I got these for my birthday. Shout out to everyone that, guys, I had some Grey Goose. Whew. Frank Lanza actually put me onto a little tip there. He put the Grey Goose in the Arizona green tea. Bro, that shit had me knocking, man. I tell you. I was at the end of the night gripping the pillow like this, but it felt so good. And then that Saturday night, we took it back, old school, and had some Bombay and lemonade. So, those were two drinks that I would definitely suggest to you guys that I had over the birthday if you want to try those out. But I did get a nice case of these. I wanted to try these out. They're a little bit different. And, I've been on this seltzer wave. But here we have a different type of seltzer. We have the White Claw Iced Tea Mango. All right? So we have an iced tea flavored seltzer, but it's a mango iced tea. And I tell you what, guys, I'm definitely interested because most times I'll have a little bit of a sneak preview before I go on the show to at least get myself ready to describe to you guys what I have. But I have not tried this yet, so you guys are going to get raw, unedited, whatever you want to call it, review of this iced tea by Seltzer White Claw. And my brother swears by these White Claws, and also Doc G swears by them too. So it's, like I said, it's only right that I try and go after all these different seltzers, man. Especially when you can drink 6, 7, 8 of them and you don't feel so full, right? So, guys, you know what I've been on. I've been on this seltzer wave. I'm going to try this next seltzer. This one's called the White Claw Iced Tea Mango. Shout out to Uncle Mickey. Shout out to Tom DeVico on our Facebook live stream. Shout out to Vitamin Z. Benzie Brims on the Instagram live. Jeffrey Farrell. Hawks. So many people, again, that continue to, tune into the show and help it to be the show that it is. So without you guys, wouldn't be here, man. So cheers up once again. About to try this White Claw Mango Iced Tea. Let's see how it is.
Mango.
I have to say, man, I do like the iced teas a little bit more than the regular seltzers. And the reason why I'll say that is because sometimes with the seltzers, it can be fizzy. Like, it can feel like you have that fizz, and it's coming in a little bit, what's the carbonation? You can feel it. But I feel like the carbonation with this iced tea mango is very light. So I could definitely drink it a little bit more than I normally would in just a sip. So, and it also tastes good too. The mango's not too much. I feel like, especially when you have like an Arizona can, like a mango Arizona can, the mango is, it's thick and it's right in your face. This is just a light enough hint of it so that you can still feel like you're having a seltzer without feeling like you're going all in with the tea. So, once again, this is the White Claw Iced Tea Mango. I'm going to definitely give this, I'd say, a strong 8 out of 10 because it's pretty good. Yep. This is the Talk That Talk show.
Talk that talk.
Thank you so much for tuning in every single Friday night at 8:30 Eastern Time. Big shout out to my boy Timmy Hugo over at Parlor. We had a big win over him in bowling. It was so great to have, we talk about putting our best foot forward. And, in a night where, he shot 900, I was still able to shoot 822 myself. And, with my brother behind us as well, too. We had a tough match, and it feels good when you're competing with someone else at a high level and you get the outcome that you want. Because we've competed before, but, we've come into a buzzsaw sometimes. So to be able to come out on top, that was a good win, and that felt good, man. So, once again, shout out to Timmy Hugel for a great match. If you guys need him for, building your own personal brand, please hit him up at Ink Parlor. This guy is absolutely fantastic. Also want to give a shout out to my boy, Joe Snow and Maria, over at New York Life, helping people to get their financial freedom daily. Please hit them up, guys, and they'll put you on the right path. Also want to give a big shout out to my boy, Jeff, over at Air We Are, helping people to, pretty much get their heating and air conditioning needs fixed, especially when it's getting hot. Guys, it's getting hot. It's almost at the peak of the summertime. You don't want to have that AC unit out. Hit him up, and he will make sure that everything will be A-okay for you. And then finally want to give a big shout out to my boy Savion over at Skydive Socks. He's, got some dope shit. I was able to, pair it with some of the stuff that I'm going to be rocking with the Talk That Talk show soon. So, he's got a great product, and he's going to, continuously put out hot stuff. So please check him out over at Skydive Socks. Guys, you can always check us out at our website, talkthattalkshow.com. Also, check us out at _TalkThatTalkShow on Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. Please subscribe. All right. A lot of people ask, where else can we go to see all the episodes besides just on your website? Go to the YouTube channel, Talk That Talk Show on YouTube. We got all the videos there. You can go back to some of the old episodes. Please subscribe and check us out through there. All right. We are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, you name it. Just go out there. The information's there for you. All we need you to do is hit that download, hit that subscribe button, and I promise you that every single Friday night, you will have the highest quality episode of the Talk That Talk show that you'll be able to listen to, all right? Me and my Daybreaker Mets Hat Club hat are going to go out of here. Hopefully we have some good luck tomorrow on that mint condition drop, but shout out to everybody that continues to tune into this show. I love you all, and continue to believe in this Talk That Talk show, because we're going to continue to come each and every week. Love you all. See you next Friday.